Hello, YouTube audience. It is I, Violet Metalfire VA, the owner of Anime Rap Battles, and I know it's been a couple of months, but since the last commentary, and we're going from like a pretty radical shift from L versus Naegi to the new battle, Kaworu versus Reze. But if you don't remember what I do for the channel, I'm basically I run the channel, the YouTube stuff. I write a good majority of the battles, project manager, stuff like that. I make sure, especially in the modern era, I especially make sure that things get done. I've been here since day one, and I've still been going at it in the past couple of months. I haven't had time to get back on the commentaries, but now I've been situated in my new home, and I have a new audio equipment. I sound much better than I did in the first three commentary tracks, so I'm just ready to get things back into motion. And what better way to do that than with this new battle that we uploaded for Rap Battle Day? And the Mob versus Tetsuo commentary will come eventually. It's just a matter of finding the right time, but I promise that will come eventually. And it is a much leap in battle time, but it only felt natural to talk about this battle when it's like fresh in the mind, and what better way to do it than now? But I'm not alone with me uh for this commentary. Please feel free to introduce yourself.
Yes, so hi, my name is Ryan, aka Special Inquisitor Ryan, aka Sir Rap Battles. I am kind of like, I guess, like the third main pillar of anime rap battles in a way. I've ever
Yes.
since 2021, I've been the main editor for a bunch of the battles, both mainline and OVARB.
Yes.
And yeah, this is sort of like my first time editing for the series in quite a while,
Yeah.
especially for OVARB. I'm gonna refer to it as like the bonus series, but I know that's kind of like kind of downplaying the amount of work that went into this specific project. I feel like it's much more than just a bonus battle.
Right.
Um,
Because the reason that this series exists, and I want to go more into it when we talk about when we do a commentary track for Sanji versus Brock, because that was like the matchup where it's like, well, fuck. Why don't we have like a side series where we have like a different like editing style, so we can have like a way for it to come out a bit more faster than the mainline series, because AMV, for its iconography to the series, is kind of impractical in today's like rap battle space. It like when it's done right, it looks great, but it takes just like such a long time to produce.
Yes, I do agree. And this is coming from someone who, I have done full AMV for the channel. But that was I think the last time I did like a full AMV was with Moon versus Madoka, and that
Yeah.
was when I was still, yeah, that's quite a long time ago. That was my first kind of real contribution to the series, and that was when I had Premiere Pro, which is not the most ideal software for specifically like rap battle editing. And I know I've proven myself countless times that I am a much better editor than when I started out working for this series.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in my experience, AMV, at least like the AMV, like the standards of AMV that, you know, the best of the best like anime rap battles have been known for are time consuming because although you're not working with like custom stills and backgrounds, you are still very much having to kind of like mask out frame by frame
Mm-hmm.
like each individual clip and character from the shows, and you have to do that for like 3 minutes straight basically. 3 minutes worth of like wrapping time usually.
Mm-hmm.
It does kind of differ, but it is a very time consuming process because it's like you like not only do you have to mask out the footage, but you also there's also a bunch of like compositing that you have to do to kind of make it look cool. Like you have to do kind of think about like the way like one character kind of transitions into the shot. I'm kind of thinking about this from like a filmmaking perspective as well, because a lot of like my knowledge of editing can also apply from just a general like videography standpoint. Um, and yeah, it was like editing for Reze versus Kaworu was like very, very different to what I'm used to because it's not like the style that OVARB was used to, where it was kind of just like character in front of like a text box, and the text box would rotate, and that would kind of be it. Maybe
Yeah,
I'd switch backgrounds like here and there, but it was very, very simple and of its time, like the style.
yeah,
Um, but this one is very, very interesting because it's the first anime like rap battle episode in general to have basically like full on PNG editing.
it
Or at
is.
least like
Yeah, like
yeah,
where it's
so
like where they're not just like bouncing like up and down. They're just like shifting from like background to background. It's like such like a radical departure from like all the other battles in like the side series, and I think it's like a really welcome change of pace because I could not imagine like writing this, recording this, especially with an audio like this one, where it looked like a 2022 OVARB. It would just feel like it would feel like it would just not benefit the audio at all.
I agree. Yeah, this is like yeah, I think this is a good segue to kind of talk about the writing process because I think both of us have a very big stake in it. But I would
Yes.
like to kind of hear like your process because obviously you wrote the majority of the script, so I want to know like what it was like for you and kind of tackling the script and like the way went about the characters.
Right. So I think what I wanted to do for this battle, I think a thing is like I have been making these battles ever since I was a freshman in high school. I've been doing it for a very long time. And as I've been doing this for a very long time, it's like I need to like spice things up for myself. I need to change how I approach certain things. So honestly what really like put that in my brain was when I was beat hunting one day. I was beat hunting for a completely unrelated battle, and I found the beat, which I'm going to give like a sample of right now.
Hmm.
This beat, when I found it, it like lit it like struck a chord in my brain. It's like this beat is perfect for what I want for Reze versus Karu. It's both pretty and it's both evil, which I think suits the matchup very very well. But it was also that just like the BPM of the beat is like it's like a very fast paced beat, which isn't really all that common in anime in the entirety of the channel. I've been super comfortable riding around like the 90 BPM early 100 BPM sort of range for like a vast majority of the battles. So when I heard something like this like this is not what I'm used to, but this is such a unique and cool beat that if I don't write to this, it's going to be such a missed opportunity. And I'm so glad I went with this beat because it is one of my favorite beats that we've ever used single-handedly. So with this beat, I was like, I have to really put everything into the musicality and the just overall flow of the battle because I come from a generation of rap battle creators slash writers where musicality wasn't really a priority for us. Obviously, I want all my shit to sound good. I want to have like a baseline where it sounds good at least, but I never went the full effort into making it like a super catchy banger of an experience, which I admit for the longest time was a weakness of mine. But I think that writing this was like a necessary step in my evolution if I want to write more catchy sounding battles.
Yeah, and like I think in trying to kind of reach that goal, because it's such a very different like tempo and BPM from what you're normally used to, Vi.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was also kind of like like a fresh challenge for me in the same sense that like I'm more used to writing sort of battles in like the mid-tempo range, kind of like within like the 80 to 100 area. I feel like that's a comfort zone
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of creators and writers in the rap battle space tend to prefer because it's easy to kind of come up with punchlines because it's such a consistent tempo. Um, but this one was different. It's faster. Um, and that means there is a lot of room to kind of develop a lot of flow pockets and internal like schemes and just kind of overall like experiment with like technical writing in a way that anime rap battles as a whole hasn't really like kind of dipped its toes into all too much.
Right. Cuz
And
like that's like
yeah,
kind of thing that I haven't really gotten to do, but make writing this and just like work writing to that beat, it like lit like a fire under my ass saying, I can do so much more if I find like the right beats to inspire me. And I just like remember one of my favorite things about like writing the script is just like listening to the beat as I'm like writing like for like certain like verses or like parts of a verse and just like mumbling like on the beat, like trying to find like the right sounds and just like overall cadence of how things would be delivered. So that's like a really fun part of the process for me.
yeah. And originally, like this I wasn't supposed to have, like, any involvement with the writing at all. Like, to start off, this battle was fully, like, very much a Vi script from start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
My involvement kind of came in when the original, voice actor for Kaoru wasn't able to well, no, okay, I need to phrase this in a way that makes sense. Not a originally, like when it came down to the process of recording, I think like, I don't wanna like I wanna be transparent about the process just to kind of like,
Yeah,
pull
of
back the
course.
curtain
Of
because
course.
it like this battle was not without its production like hiccups. And one of the big ones here was that like um I guess the original Karu VA found it difficult to record to the original script.
Mm-hmm.
Um and I think, like, they provided a bunch of, like, feedback in terms of, like, they prefer to have, like, certain lines be structured in a way that allowed more room for, like, each of, like, the lines and concepts to breathe as opposed to just being, like, bar after bar, idea after idea back to back without any
Right.
sort of, like, cohesion or, like, structure to the way it's laid out. And I noticed this issue. It was pointed out to me, and I was like, I really, like you and me both agreed. We really wanted this VA to be a part of this project.
Yes,
It was very much
I
like
was
the perfect
fighting
cast
for it for
still.
so long.
And I wanted to help you to make it happen.
Right.
So in doing so, I felt like the only natural way to be able to like help push the VA in the right direction so that they could record
Mm-hmm.
was for me to redraft the script, um, kind of taking a bunch of the foundation like the base ideas and the foundations of the Karu verses, and what I did was I added a bunch of my own lines. I still kept the main concepts and material that was covered, but I did a lot of like rephrasing and kind of coming up with like ideas that better kind of pointed out like the key like disses to hit about Reze in a way that felt more cohesive and
Right.
succinct. You can tell this a lot with, like, the way I structured the I guess, like, the different sections of the writing in Kaoru's verses,
Right.
where, like, okay, let's if you're able to go to the battle,
Yeah.
um, I would like you to play the second half of Kaoru verse 1, because
Okay.
this is a bunch of my writing. So this is the part where it
Okay. I
transitions to
let's go to
Now
this.
just think for a second. You're trying to
yes.
heat the chainsaws hard, but he's leaving yours melted. How do you feel about love if your programming's slowing your shot at receiving affection? See, you had a pool date with a freak that you treasured, a taste of a real connection, but just one sphere in your meeting got severed. Only instrumentality could keep you together.
Yes. Oh my god.
Yes.
Hi, Reze. So essentially, the finisher of that verse is still very much like quote like bar for bar Vi's original writing, but what I wanted to do was have the whole 8 bar section be dedicated to the idea that Reze is incapable of being able to find love because of the way that she's been programmed
Hmm.
and because of the way that she has been kind of turned into this weapon of like mass destruction.
Right.
And like Kaoru's like whole sort of like angle that he was taking in this verse is that like, okay, well, you really suck at the one thing you actually wanted to have, um, and that's on you, buddy. Um,
I think
so
I think
I
I think the original VA's response to the original Kaoru draft was kind of like a huge eye opener for me because like I don't often really get to have like in-depth discussion with my writing with like a good majority of people, especially since especially with people who like aren't in the inner ARB circle. So they hear like an outsider perspective, especially since it came from like a writer that is frankly one of the best to ever do it. It's like holy shit, this is the kind of advice that I'm always looking for, and it made me see the value of like cohesion in expressing a central idea through through like sections of a verse and it culminating in like the last line or something, because like I had the ideas and I had the overall direction, but it was like lacking the cohesion to make it all come together.
yeah, I mean, y yeah, it was like the the ideas were very much there, and you had the core lines concepts were like very punchy to begin with, but I think like everything kind of preceding that
Mm-hmm.
was sort of like separate individual ideas that loosely kind of led up to the main punchline, which is not bad in a vacuum, you know. Like I think like
There are
battles can definitely benefit
there
from
are
being like a
some
bar fest,
lines
but
from the original Karu draft that I miss. There are some, but but they had to be sacrificed for the overall vision of each verse.
yeah, I did feel a little bad about cutting out some of the lines, just because like
I missed the Fox Devil line. That shit was so like funny and cunty for Karu's character, but it wouldn't have worked for what we were going for in the final version.
yeah, it just unfortunately it didn't really have much of a place because like every the way I wanted like Cowboys versus to go is that every idea had its place,
Mm-hmm.
um, in his like in his writing, and no idea felt like unwasted or like undervalued rather.
Mm-hmm.
Um, That's something I really wanted to emphasize. You can also like see this kind of pattern of writing with Kaoru's second verse, where he is talking about like the conceptualization of like Reze as like a weapon, where it's like it's leading up to this ultimate like punchline that Reze has no freedom, no sense of like free will, no
Right.
control,
And to
because
hear
all
that
she's ever made.
and to hear this from Kaoru, the angel of free will, it's like the second verse had to go in that direction. Like I like knew like right away what I just like wanted the overall dynamic of these two to be. It's like Reze like putting herself like on a pedestal and always just making like very like personal jabs at Kaoru, but Kaoru is like talking from like a like the from the perspective of like a higher being who has like some kind of pity towards Reze, and he's like humbling her in a sense.
Yeah, it's very much like it's so pretentious. It's so, like, condescending, but it's like it's exactly the kind of, like, wake-up call that Reze needs to hear because she is so blinded by violence,
Mm-hmm.
because that's all she's ever known in her life, which is literally a point that I hammer in, like, the last verse where it's like, "Violence is all you've ever known." Like, you've had no control over the how you wanna live the rest of your life because whenever you try to do that, you just get murked. Like, it's not
Yeah.
worth it. Um, so, like, yeah, the writing process overall was very, very fun. I had a very good time kind of chipping away at a draft and kind of making sure that I can kind of communicate what you were like kind of going for with the writing while also
Mhm.
kind of making it fresh and like accessible. I think accessible is a very key term in this instance where, especially when you're writing a character like Kaoru who is, you want to get his character across while also kind of relaying the material that because Reze has a lot of shit to diss.
Yeah,
Um
there was a comment on the winner poll I put on the channel yesterday where some guy commented Chainsaw Man characters are the opposite of Toby Fox characters where they always lose the battles.
they always lose the battle because it is such like the whole like series is just rooted in tragedy.
Yes.
Um and that is unfortunately such a dissable thing in rap battles.
Right.
Um so yeah, like I had a very good time writing for this. It was my first writing contribution to like a publicly released um anime rap battle like ever.
Which
And
is
that
which
is something.
which is kind of crazy for how long you've been part of the crew, but at the same time it's like our production is like so like on and off, and like there are like just like some matchups that that we haven't seen like anything from like the characters, so it's like there just had the right matchup just sort of had to come up, for it to happen.
Yeah, I think this one was like kind of something I could immediately jump to because I had just recently watched the Resi movie. Like it was kind of in circulation around the time that this was written, so it was very fresh in my mind. It's very fresh in everyone's minds. Chainsaw Man has never been in like a better position as far as like the anime zeitgeist is concerned,
For
even though
sure.
it just ended. But like that's kind of why people are kind of hopping to it now, because it's like there's so much like material and series to pull from now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, like very, very good. And I think honestly, like you mentioned this before, but like this really feels like a turning point in just like the I feel like this is a very very much like, a new beginning where this battle is like this started production this year. So like it is very much like the most recently written
Right.
um
And
battle to come out of the series.
I always say this, and I remember saying this to Dusk in another commentary. It's like ARBs when they release are never a reflection of my current like skill set when they release, because they always come out like a year or two after I've written them. With the exception of Mob vs. Tetsuo, that came out like 2 weeks after the audio was recorded. So that was like an exception.
Yeah. I think like um I think it's good that even in a series as old as this, there's still ways for like innovation to be made and kind of mindsets to be adjusted.
Right.
Um
I think out of many like older creators, especially from like my sort of generation, it's like I'm like one of the few ones left, and I'm one of the ones who are willing to just like change things up, work with new people, like really like look for new things to make this still interesting to me.
I agree. Um And I think, like, the writing, in my opinion, is I don't know, because it all kind of, like, every aspect of the production kind of, like, complements each other, but the writing is f for sure, like a strong point, I would say. Like,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think, like, the dynamic between the characters is very clearly established, where Reze is kind of like, constantly on aggro and popping ult, and then Kara was just kind of like this chill it's like lion versus monkey, Like, you ever seen that meme? Um,
Yes.
it's very much like that, like, Reze is just, like, fucking angry as shit, and then Kaoru is just, like, he's so chill and calm, but he's like he knows how to fucking destroy this woman, and it's really cool. Um
And character dynamics are so important to me because one of my favorite things about making these is like writing just like the characters, characterizing them and their relationships with each other, like how they would interact. That is like very fanficky, but that's like the fun part of it. And I was thinking, I feel like Karu would have like some sort of condescending pity, towards Reze.
yeah.
With all that said and done, you want to officially start the watching of the battle.
Yes,
All
I
right.
would let's
All right,
let's.
Let's do it. Okay, first I want to mention Reze art done by friend of the channel Mega PMB. Amazing artist. She's so fucking awesome, and she did such great work in for the Reze art. And the Karu art was done by by the legendary Cole the Cole, the maker of Chris vs. Scott Pilgrim. I knew I want to have Cole do the Kaoru art because Cole is like one of the first guys I thought of as like, oh, another Evangelion fan. Oh, and he also does really good art. So I figured I would hit him up, and he really delivered. Both artists like really delivered for the battle.
I do agree. The stills are very, very fun to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciate that there's sort of like a contrast where like Reze, like I think Mega style is very much defined by like thick line art,
Mm-hmm.
and like very vibrant colors. Um, which I think you can describe Chainsaw Man like kind of well in that sense because it is like a very vibrant, like like stylistically vibrant. I mean,
Oh,
um,
absolutely.
series. I mean, you just look at like the manga like cover arts for each of the volumes. Like you can tell that this is very much the aesthetic. Is that like despite like them being in such a bleak world, these characters are like so vibrant in their personalities and backstories.
Mm-hmm.
That's what kind of makes it so appealing. And then you have Kaoru, who is very much drawn almost like very accurately to the style of Evangelion. Because I mean, how else would you do it? You just kind of had
Yeah.
to like play it straight, right?
Right.
Um, it's like Haru was like so much more serious in comparison. And I think like the art style kind of reflects that. He's just like no nonsense. He's straight up about it. Just gets to the point.
Absolutely. And one last thing before we properly play the battle is like I've told this story before, but I want to make it public to YouTube. Is that like one of the main one of the overall best things about this battle like is the matchup, the pairing itself, because like I remember going to see Reze arc in theaters, and I've already read like the Chainsaw Man manga, and the Bomb Devil arc is like one of the best parts of the manga, and I was like, fuck yes, I get to see the Reze arc in theaters. And just like seeing it in theaters like really reminded me how amazing that part of the story is. Well, it's both like really like self-contained, but also it just like impacts Denji for like the entirety of the manga. And there's just something really like tragic about the like the loss of like genuine love, like two outcasts, like like who find each other, and like exterior forces like pull them away. It's like really tragic and beautiful. But also in the back of my mind, I was like, damn, Denji and Reze are like Shinji and Kaoru for straight people. And I thought about it for a few seconds. Wait a second. Maybe there's something there. And so the idea of Reze versus Kaoru just it kept like infiltrating the back of my head for like a good while. And I was really reluctant to even do the matchup at first because I mean, you're in the crew server. There's like a handful of Chainsaw Man matchups like planned.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, do we really need another Chainsaw Man matchup? But at the same time, I was also like, this matchup just won't get out of my head. And it's probably the best idea that you could possibly do for Kaoru. The most like interesting one at least. So like fuck it. Let's give it a try. Let's make it an OVARB. Let's make it the comeback to the series. And I'm so glad I did, because like this is like one of my favorite matchups we've ever done. It's like such like it's kind of a pairing you wouldn't expect at first, but once you like really like think about it, it makes like complete sense. I just know for a fact that I would not have had any fun making Reze versus Bakugo, or like Reze versus any other bomb character, because that's just not such like an interesting dynamic to me. I mean, there's a great Reze versus King Babam battle that released on the same day, but I never would have made that because that's not my type of dynamic.
Yeah. Uh,
Hmm?
and also like the intro, just like the in terms of like the way I wanted to like edit it.
Oh yes.
Um, I don't know. I just think it looks really cool to have kind of like stylized title cards like that
I
for both
agree.
characters.
I love the Reze title card so much. Just like the rain and the right and the pose you chose for it. Just
Yeah,
so good, dude. Just so good.
because like the Reze gets introduced in a rainy scene, holding Denji's flower.
That's right. And I knew I wanted the one of the poses to be her holding Denji's flower.
Yeah, it's like a sense of like innocence, like
A-
that symbol.
absolutely.
But yeah, keep on playing the battle, and
All
we
right,
can kind of go
I'll
as
go.
we.
I'll go by like a second.
Cedar Blood, not sure what you mean, since I heard you bad for the other team.
So we start off with a gay joke. We I,
Yeah.
we start off with a gay joke. Karu is like, I'm gonna explain this because I feel like it will fly over people who don't know Evangelion. Karu is like one of the seeds of life in the series, born like one of like the spawns of Adam and seeds of life. I'm paraphrasing this because it's like really, it's really complex and it would take me forever. But it's just like a being who can like reproduce life and in a way to describe cum is seed. And since Karu is gay, like and I heard you back for the other team was like an old way of telling people that they're gay or referring to gay people. So it's like it's kind of like a more subtle gay joke, but it just made sense to open that up with that. And the voice actress who's playing Reze is new to the channel. How do you pronounce her name? I don't want to fuck it up.
Sorry.
Reze's voice actress. How do you pronounce her name? I don't want to fuck it up.
Oh, Aji.
Aji. I initially didn't know who to cast as Reze because like I'm not always in tune with like new talent like in like the scene. So it's good to have like people. I think you suggested IG as Reze, and I was like,
Yes,
oh
I
yeah,
did.
she's the one who played Rosa in your Punch Out battle. She was so good in that. So I was immediately
Yeah.
on board, and I hit her up, and she's super sweet. She was an absolute delight to work with, and she recorded the same day I sent her the materials. I vividly remember this. I was like in like the grocery store, and I checked Discord to see like all the files, and I was like, oh my god, she's so fast. She's so professional. So I had to like wait until I get back home to hear it. But I think her performance is fucking incredible. I think she's one of the best voice actresses this community has ever had.
I can't stress enough how brilliant RG is. Like, she basically did the whole thing like for you in one take. As in like the first take was all we really needed.
Yes.
And for even for me, like she kind of just like hit it off like immediately, like on the first try. And I didn't really have to ask for any re-recordings except for like backups for like one like small line. But apart from that, she is like an actual talent, and I'm very glad this community it like has like such a wonderful voice actress to just you know be in the rotation because
Absolutely.
she is so good at what she does. So RG, if you're listening to this, I want to let you know that you are one of the greats. Thank you so much for being a part of this battle. You turned in an amazing performance.
Abso-fucking-lutely. When I got home and heard that, I was blown the fuck away. All right, let's continue.
Errand boy will get what's deserved. Even during off hours, I'll leave you served. K-Nex smokes your 10 minutes of fame into 30 plus years of corporate shame. One dance and the globe is in my palm. The box office is the one thing I don't bomb.
That's I love that line. I think it's like one of my favorite lines I've written for this because like I usually hate lines where it's like referencing like box office or like critics scores, but I will make an exception if it's a really really good joke, and it is a really good joke.
Yeah.
And that was definitely like one of the first lines I came up with for on the battle, because like sometimes I'll just be out like walking or doing whatever, and it's like, oh shit, that would be a really good line, or that's like a really good concept for a line. But yeah, I just like really love that little part of the verse there, like the guy knocks milk to 10 minutes of fame, and the 30+ years of corporate shame. One dance in the globe is in my palm. The box office is the one thing I don't bomb. That shit's like really smooth. And I think with like the Reze parts especially, it's like my like signature like punchy writing style is there, but in more of like a catchy package. So Reze definitely has more of like the Violet isms, compared to Kaoru, which still some of them are still there, but Reze is like pure unfiltered Violet writing in a new fresh coat of paint.
Yeah.
Thing I don't bomb. If a geek's behind that looks like your crush, they typed up a storm that makes typing blush. Being a pilot takes more than just to get up. But like Ayanami, you're both sad and messed up.
Okay, I put a really obscure reference in here, like where we put it. Ava Geeks saw on Netflix for your crush. Ava Geeks is like the name of like a dedicated like wiki and forum site for Evangelion, where it's like the most like dedicated Evangelion fans like post like a bunch of like debates and like notes and stuff like that. So I just want to throw like a little like subtle reference to that, and just like make a joke about how like Netflix translated the dialogue between Shinji and Kaoru in episode 24 of Evangelion, because I don't like the decision, frankly, and it rightfully caused like such like a controversy amongst fans, and they typed up a storm that would make Typhoon the Storm Devil blush.
They typed up a storm that makes typing blush. Being a pilot takes more than just to get up. But like Ayanami, you're both sad and messed up. Putting the chokehold to keep you in check. Oh wait, I can't reach at your laugh net. Ditch the mic and stick to piano class, so crack your fragile heart like glass.
When you, all right, so I would definitely when I was writing the first Reze verse, I was like, I want Reze to just sort of like style on him, like show off like her pride and her sort of like her arrogance, like she's like having fun, like with this, and I think it resulted in like I think it does what like a first verse should do, is like ease you into the battle, get you a feel for what this character is doing.
Yeah.
Let's get this drama settled, cause you sure bombed that verse, Osama Devil. Did you hire
The fan favorite line. I'm so glad you kept that in, because it is such like a dumb joke, but it gets like an immediate reaction out of people, which is very good. But also we gotta mention this is Snakebite126 in his first appearance on the channel as Kaoru. So I always knew that Benjamin was always like an amazing option for Kaoru if the original VA like never worked out. So when things, when I realized, oh shit, I have to get the battle out soon, I hit up Benjamin, and such a wonderful guy to just like work with. He was like super professional, and just like Aji, he like gave in a performance where it's like, damn, the first take is like, I have no notes here. You did an incredible job.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to work with Benjamin, because like, if we take Eddie out of the equation, I think Benjamin's probably the greatest rap battle creator of all time. But that's like probably like my opinion, but I think most people would agree. But I was thinking, fuck, I just need to find the right character for Benjamin, and Karu is like one of those characters that I could see him fitting like a glove, and I think it turned out for like a really, really great performance. He really like captures Karu's like more like calm and smooth demeanor, while portraying that also that hint of arrogance shown in the verse.
Yeah.
And like I'm sure you would agree that he like like delivered a bunch of like your material like the way you envisioned it.
Yeah, I think like Benjamin's performance in this battle is like really, really good. And even though like he wasn't like the immediate option for Kaoru, I think like he absolutely saw both like the way I flowed like the lines in my demo and also just like the way I wanted it to be delivered as well. It's very like kind of snarky and like scathing in a way.
Mm.
Um and I think Benjamin really gets down that energy. He understands the assignment, you know. For someone who probably hasn't seen Evangelion, I think he gets across the character really well. Um, but yeah, actually, no, yeah, both voice actors, to my knowledge, haven't seen the source material of the characters they're playing, and I think
That's
they
true.
pretty much,
Yeah. I
yeah,
remember
they pretty much hit it on the dot.
yeah, I remember I actually mentioned that she hadn't like seen like Chainsaw Man, and but I made sure to obviously give her like reference material, like hey, here are like some clips of Reze, and I made sure to give Benjamin also like clips of Kaoru. I think like my only concern with casting Benjamin, I never should have thought this, but I my only concern was that there would have been like some similarities between like his Komaida and his Karu, but also I need to remember that Benjamin's an incredible VA, and I never should have like thought that because he made Karu like into his own without really like being reminiscent of Komaida, because Komaida definitely has like some similarities to Kaoru. So, but yeah, Benjamin really pulled it off.
Yeah.
I'm settled cause you sure bombed that verse, Osama Devil. If you're high and mighty cause you found your worth, well let this stage will bring you back down to earth. I'm heaven sent, second child replacement. This lab rat belongs back in the basement. While Adam Sheets made me a nascent living, they botched this villain that was made for killing.
One of the most catchy parts in the entire battle to me. I love that entire couplet so much. There'll be like times where I'm like heating up food or like waiting for something or whatever, and I'll just start mumbling, and I'll just start like mumbling that couplet. It just like it like sticks in my brain.
Living, they botched this villain that was made for killing. Now just think for a second. You're trying to heat the chainsaw's heart, but he's leaving yours melted. How do you go about love if your programming's blowing your shot at receiving affection?
I need to point this out. This shot of Kaoru standing on like the angel with like the members of Sele like surrounding him, dude, you were that was so fucking cool. I remember when you sent like the first two verses, like the work in progress, and I was like, God damn, that shit looks cool as fuck. Wait, Ryan, are you there? This, I'll play this part back.
Think for a second.
Yeah.
You're trying to heat the chainsaw's heart, but he's leaving yours melted. How do you go about love if your programming's blowing your shot at receiving affection?
So basically what I was saying is that I love this shot of Karu like standing on the angel with the members of Sele around him. I think that's like one of my favorite visuals he put in the battle.
Yeah, like but essentially what I did here was I saw the original like reference image in like shot in the anime and I was like, okay, I want to make a 3D background out of this. What I did was I masked out all of the individual layers the of what made up like the original shot in the anime, and I made all of them separate 3D layers so that it can kind of have like a depth of field
Mm-hmm.
effect when you kind of zoom in and out. And I think it's so cool because it's very atmospheric. It kind of gives a sense of like scale and like, you know, like Haru is just kind of like standing on the angel, and he's like fucking, he's just looking at you. You know,
Yeah.
it's very like it's very eerie in like a good way.
I think just like the just like overall like backgrounds, just like color palettes and such like that for Kaworu's verses, like visually speaking, just super atmospheric. Like I think they like fit him to a T, like really well.
Yeah, because I knew going into this that like I really wanted to have like the colors pop out. And kind of like the composition of the shot was something I kept in mind a lot
Mm-hmm.
when kind of coming up with each of the different like scenes for this battle. This is very much like this goes from scene to scene, and I wanted to make each scene look as pretty as they could be.
Mm-hmm.
How do you go about love if your programming's blowing your shot at receiving affection? So you had a pool date with a freak that you treasured, a taste of a real connection, but just one sphere in your meeting got severed. Only instrumentality could keep you together.
Okay, that is maybe my favorite line in the entire battle. Like if I had to pick a singular line as my favorite, that's maybe the one, because like there's just so much to it, but it's like immediately effective even if you don't know the source materials.
It is very, very good.
Because like if you're listening to this and you don't really know Evangelion, the instrumentality project is basically a process where all of humanity comes together as like one singular being, and basically Karu is saying your relationship with Denji is so fucked up, and your limbs got severed. The only way you could be with him and keep yourself together is through instrumentality, where everything is by default together. Like that's fucking insane.
It's such a good build up. I know that was like the main punchline I wanted to kind of build up to.
Yes.
Um, and I'm glad it really worked out in that sense. It makes the line payoff like hit so much harder, in my
Mm-hmm.
opinion.
Absolutely. Like I think that the final line for a verse, at least right now, it's a new way of thinking. Is like a final line of a verse should be the culmination of all the ideas, or like the central idea that you were building up to with that verse. Like the final punch of your main points.
Yeah, this is like honestly kind of like a writing 101 in a way where like if you think of like a really really good punchline or
Mm-hmm.
some or like line that kind of rounds out like a section in a way. I think it's very important to kind of figure out a clear way to build up to that punchline. So when it does hit, it hits very satisfyingly because it has been set up. All of like the breadcrumbs have been laid, the ideas have been introduced, and it leads to this kind of like gut punch of a line where it's like, shit, man, like the only way you can actually like be together with anyone is because of this thing that physically forces people to be together, you know?
Right.
Um
And also, I love this visual here. Like it's like such like a cool like visual transition into Reze's second verse,
yeah,
and
it's
and
kind of like
having
a side by side shot.
and having her like bomb like go off in the midst of the line rather than it like right at the first line. I think it makes it like smoother overall.
I agree.
But just one sphere in your meeting got severed. Only instrumentality could keep you together.
Fuck off, I had to bite your tongue off. One snap could have all your limbs flung off. This one-off angel made to suck off. Some recluse so the whole road shut off. Your AT field, you better cast it quick. I'll do a nerve cut and then blast it, bitch. My choker and my devil form hits. Pulled your choker and you got blown to bits.
Okay, so that entire like line 8 line stretch of the verse, I was in my fucking bag. I felt like I was possessed by a fucking demon, like writing it, and because like I knew I wanted to start the Reze verse with like some kind of rhyme scheme, and I want the reference like when she bites Denji's tongue off, when she turns into the bomb devil. It's like, okay, let's make that reference to when she is in her devil form, and I was thinking, okay, let me build like a rhyme scheme off of bite your tongue off. And so I had tongue off, one snap could have all your limbs flung off, this one off angel made to suck off, some recluse who the whole world shut off. Like it was all just like it was just like a really satisfying rhyme scheme for me to write, because I always worry when I'm writing a rhyme scheme where I'm always worried it's like sounds like super force and it just doesn't sound like something like a human being would say. So I'm really proud of this, of this in particular, because it just sounds like supernatural. It's not like really like cluttered, it's smooth. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm very proud of this. And I much love doing rhyme schemes where it's like the where like the last line is no, the last word is the same word, but like the word before it, it's like the one that's like really rhyming, like tongue off, flung off, shut off, suck off. Like I love that shit. I love writing that. It's fun.
Yeah. I think we can probably like move on in a bit, but
Hmm.
I think that specific rhyme scheme is like it just flows like so well, and it feels very like it just rolls off the tongue, you know. It's simple. It's kind of like quick to the point, and it's very effective. It's just it kind of just like emphasizes this idea that you know um like Reze is like fucking mad, and then she is turning everything that's being said against her
Hmm.
against Kaoru. Um, and yeah, I think that kind of like this is her chance to kind of rebuttal, and I think that that is a present theme throughout most of this verse.
Hmm.
This one-off angel made to suck off some recluse so the whole world shut off. Your AT field, you better cast it quick. I'll do a nerf gun and then blast it big. My choker and my devil form hits pulled your choker and you got blown to bits.
Another couplet that I love. I love the God, I love the rhyme of blasted bitch and cast it quick, because like that one just sort of like came naturally to me with like what I was like with like the content of the lines, and it's just like a nice, it is like a really like cool rhyme in my humble opinion, and
Yeah,
Big, my choker and my devil form hits pulled your choker and you got blown to bits.
that's like my favorite Reze line in the entire battle. It also just comes from IG, just again, fucking incredible voice acting in this verse in specific. When I like first heard it, I was like, holy shit. She like sold the anger and aggression in this verse so flawlessly.
yeah. Like it's insane how she can go from kind of like cutesy anime girl to sort of like fucking vicious monster within the span of like a verse, you know?
Yeah,
It's so crazy.
because like the first Reze verse I know want to be more of like the cutesy, more innocent side of Reze that she puts on as a front, and then when now it's like when the bomb devil, it's like all of Reze's like worst impulses, all of like her anger, like into this. And I think this battle also really highlighted the importance of just like voice acting and like just like delivery in battles. Like I know that's like duh, no shit, but also it turned it what would have been like a good performance into a performance that went above and beyond. Like the pure aggression and emotion in the you got blown to bits. That shit. When I first heard it, I was like, oh my god.
It's good, right? It is good.
I'm not dogma, you can't get past me. Violent tips off, coward at me. Didn't find that I meant to build you with doom, so you went, well, kill me, Shinji-kun.
Oh my god.
This fucking still is crazy. I didn't even I didn't tell Mega to like I don't know if I told her to write this pose or not, but when she first put that in the channel, I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. That's metal as fuck.
It's so morbid. These are like actual children that she just killed.
Yeah. And what's crazy is that it could have been even more gruesome. I think when I'm editing this, I'll put a picture of like a cut version of this where like the spines were put out, But when I saw that, I was like, okay, that's maybe a bit too far, maybe a bit too
That yeah,
much.
that's gore. That's
Yeah.
just gore.
But
Um, it's
it's
very fitting,
it,
but
it's Goro
still,
Kaoru's boyfriend.
yes.
And I love that. I
It's
love that the switch to, like, black and white, the sort of like build up to the still, because in the when during the production of the video, I was like, how are you gonna transition into the still? Like, you can't just like jump cut to this. It's like so like provocative. So I think you really like built it up in a really like effective way.
yeah, it was kind of like a brain blast idea where I was like, I can't, like every other still has kind of just been like, I can just transition within this, but I wanted to have sort of like a stylistic, like black and white scene. I don't even know what inspired it specifically. I was just kind of like, you know what, I'll just let Reze aura farm for a bit because this is the part where like Archie goes like a little bit quieter in her performance before she builds up again. And I thought that was like a good way to kind of deviate from the current like editing style and go for something a bit more um stylistic.
Hmm.
And I think it really works here.
I
I
think
came
it
up with
does
this
too.
visual on the day that this was supposed to release, by the way. Uh,
Yeah, we God, we really cut it close when releasing this on the 4th.
yeah, I was editing pretty much like the the rest of this battle the day it was supposed to come out, and it did come out on the day it was supposed to come out. Luckily, we had to kind of like I had to kind of negotiate like a couple like delays in the schedule for for the event that it released in, just to kind
Yeah.
of accommodate for the renders. Because by the time I finished editing, it was kind of like, okay, the event's already started. Fuck, I need to like render the shit out. Um, and I cannot trust my computer to render this in a timely manner, so I just had to kind of keep buying time, hoping it would do it. Hoping it would do everything, and it did. Thankfully, it
Right.
pulled through.
It pulled through when you sent that file in the Discord channel. I fucking cheered. I'm like, yes, yes, we can still make it happen. And when I clicked the publish button on YouTube, I was like, yes, baby, we fucking did it. We fucking did it.
Yes.
Though I while it was kind of like a stressful release day. It is not the most stressful release day for the channel for me. Like, I think like the Tokyo Godfathers battle was more of a stressful production for me, but that's like a story I'll tell for like another day. But I'm just so
Yeah.
glad we put this out, on the 4th, and it came out really incredibly. And we got to premiere it like in the call and seeing people's like reactions to it. It was just really satisfying.
Yeah, it's like all of like this months of like active production kind of building up to that. Okay, we're giving this the highlight on like the biggest stage of like the year when it comes to premiering battles. So might as well do it with like something that marks like a new turn for the series.
I absolutely agree. I do think like the next OVARB will probably be more in line of like the classic Violet like way of doing things, but it'll still be great. But I do think that this really is like the turning point, and it's really exciting to see. It's just gonna be exciting to see where the channel is, like what's out, but within the next year or so. I think a bunch of cool stuff like in the pipeline, and I sincerely do mean there's stuff in the pipeline. Like, I promise there are things being worked on.
Yes, there are multiple scripts that have been written.
Yes.
Um, There is one that I'm very, very much looking forward to because I think the writing is so fucking tight. And yeah, like stuff is being worked on. It is very much just kind of down to like the audio and video process now.
Yeah.
But this will most likely, no, not even most likely. This will definitely not be the last you'll see from this channel. I think if we're able to kind of hit 4 battles for this channel, maybe even 5 by the end of the year, I think that would be like a monumentous. Like that is covering like 5 years worth of like ARB content in like a year. You know?
Yeah, yeah, and I'll always be like apologetic to like people like subscribe to the channel about my on and off like production like cycle, but that's just how I am, and I always am trying to like be better about it. And it's like I have more spark than ever, which is kind of crazy considering how long I've been doing this. But I feel like, yeah, again, like the stuff that's coming up will just, I think, will make up for like lost time.
Yeah, I think we've picked up the steam train, and we don't intend to stop rolling anytime soon.
Indeed. Now let's continue.
Cocoon, turn your love into your suicide assistant. Unlike him, though, I'll crush you in an instant. So feel free to hum Beethoven more when you start knocking on heaven's door.
Great. I love Reze's second verse. I think that Reze's second verse is like my favorite verse I've ever written, at least like ones that have been released publicly. But I'm just super proud of everything I did in the second Reze verse. Just like best rhyme scheme I've ever written, some really like impactful like punches, and just like the even like the switch up in like delivery after the blown to bits line is like, if I were to write it now, it would still generally be the same. Like, I'm just really proud of what I did for that verse.
Yeah.
But now we move on to the Karu verse 2, which is also fucking crazy.
You're not worthy of anyone's grace, doing empty threats like the brushes on your face. Violence is all you know, you fool. We could all tell that you didn't go to school. But I couldn't even blame you. You spent your whole youth as a scientific breakthrough, and ever since you were forced to fight, you lived in a bombshell of your former life.
So what's interesting is that those first four lines were me, and those next four lines were you. So that
Yeah.
is pretty interesting.
But
And
I do kind of feel like even though despite like our writing styles being kind of different, like I think it meshes well in a way, you know?
I agree. It is kind of crazy how well they mesh together, like in this verse specifically, because spoiler alert, the first four lines are mine and the last four lines are mine, and everything like in the middle is Ryan, but it all like feels like really like cohesive. I'm not afraid to say that I'm generally like a very like simple writer. Like I don't think that's a knock against me at all. But I'm just a fan of like the way that I write, trying to like hone that style of, it's like simple, but when you like think about it, it like really like packs a punch. And I think you have a very like eloquent way of like wording some of your lines. And I think it like comes off
Yes.
really well for Kaoru here.
Yeah. I also like the rhyme scheme of like former life, and like forced to fight, um,
Mm-hmm.
scientific breakthrough. Yeah, it's and it keeps going. It keeps going.
It really really
As you can
does.
see.
All right, let's keep on going here. And also, I
You don't
love
get permission to have your way, cause this pet's restricted and bound by chains. That's more Genji's wishing you were present with him when this country mouse is sent down the drain. You went
that fucking couplet is so fucking brutal. It's so fucking crazy.
Yes. So basically, like I still maintain the original line about Aesop's fable,
Mm-hmm.
um, in your draft, but essentially, like what I did was I flipped it into a way that that kind of hammer down on this whole section, this whole 8 bar section of the verse. This last little bit of Kaoru is him just saying that you are not free, you are not in control, and this is exactly why, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Um, and I also really like the internal rhyme scheme I came up with, where it was kind of not even internal, but like the rhyme scheme I came up with, where it was kind of like, um, I forget how it went at the beginning. We play the section.
Yeah, of
It'll
course.
it'll it'll be there.
You lived in a bombshell of your former life. You don't get permission to have your way, cause this pet's restricted and bound by chains. That's more Genji's wishing you were present with him when this country mouse is sent down the drain. You went
Yeah, that's basically a 7 syllable rhyme scheme. Get permission to have your way. Pets restricted and bound by chains. Dandy's wishing, present with him. Country mouse. I kind of fumbled it at the end, but like I think you kind of have to for like the last line because it's kind of relaying the fable that like Reze very much admits that she is the country mouse,
Mm-hmm.
where she prefers to live like a country like life, but pursuing that is what basically killed her, right?
Right.
Um,
And
and
you
then
know what's crazy?
yeah,
This is the second time where Reze got like got like murked by an angel.
That's so true. Yeah, she just has no luck
No,
with these kinds of things.
no luck. I love Chainsaw Man, but the characters really are so easy to diss. Like it's so free
Yeah,
sometimes.
it is very, very free. That's what makes writing like Chainsaw Man characters so fun.
God, I can't wait until like I really want to do like Denji versus Devilman. Like I want to do that so bad before the eventual end. That's like if I had to do one more Chainsaw Man battle, like that one has to be it.
Yeah, it's such a good matchup.
You were present with him when this country mouse was sent down the drain. You went from a super soldier in training to another one of Makima's playthings. So heed the angel of free will's voice. No matter where, you never had a choice.
I don't know if this is a hot take, but I think that is the best finisher on the channel next to the Mob vs Tetsuo finisher. It's like while it's said in a very calm demeanor, because of everything that was built up to it, it is so unbelievably scathing.
It's just blunt, you know? It's like you just don't have a choice. Everything that Kara has been saying kind of builds up to this like kind of like thesis statement that like, you know, Reze never had a choice. And this is coming from the angel of free will of all people
Of all
saying this to
people.
Reze.
And this line, I think, shows how important like wording is because if it said no matter what, you never had a choice, it still would have been really good. But I think since he said no matter where, you never had a choice, I think that elevates it because of the whole debacle between the country mouse and the city mouse.
Yeah, like Reze like had the illusion of choice. That is very much like the what the ending of her arc is supposed to portray is that like she had the choice to go back to the countryside,
Mm-hmm.
um, and she decided to choose Denji instead. But doing that killed her because she was kind of in the vicinity of Makima. Um, and it's just such like a good way to close off the battle with just like this like statement, you
Right.
know?
And I think it's the right still for the statement because like fucking Karu is like doing like the I show speed pose where he's like
He's
looking
hitting the
down.
speed gift.
He's hitting the speed gift where he's like looking down, like closing his eyes. Like again, the artists for both characters really delivered. They understood the assignment.
Yeah.
And also
Yo, Karu, why?
I gotta point it out. I said this to you, but my favorite shot in the battle. I love this. It's like it's like a really cool placement of both characters.
Yes. So cool that I came up with this 1 hours before it was supposed to be uploaded. That's just the way the deadline brain works.
Frankly,
Um
Ryan, I don't know how you don't have like a mental breakdown doing this because I would have fucking been panicking all day.
I kept it cool. Like as much as I was like stressing, like you can definitely you probably like heard it at some point during the call. I was kind of like so like stressed begging for time. But I
Right,
think it worked out because I knew this was gonna come out. I just needed to make sure that like like I had an opportunity to let it come out. And I'm
yeah,
very, very glad it did.
I'm
Because
glad
I
too.
Oh, this is such like a perfect sequence to end the battle on. It's just like, you know, it's like if you're thinking about it from like a cinematography angle, I tried to make it sort of like a high angle shot, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Right.
Um where it's like like you can see Kaoru in the background, but he's very much like not the epicenter of the shot, but
Mm-hmm.
he's just kind of like looming over, like floating, because he literally is above Reze, and she's just kind of like looking up at her at him, and I think that's something so poetic about that. I think it really helps to kind of communicate the message of like the finisher more.
Right. Very very well said, my friend. And yeah, of course, IG as Reze, the Benjamin as Kaoru, written by us, edited and mixed by you, and beat by Mac Roman again. fucking incredible beat. I love the beat so much. Um, and special thanks to Rosenthal. And
Special thanks to Rosenthal.
yep, and I think this is the most like satisfied I've ever felt like when releasing something. Like when it dropped and just like the immediate feeling after and everyone's words about the battle, it just made me feel really proud, and it made me remember, God, it feels so good to release something in general, but also something that people like really like gravitated to. I also felt that way with like, oh, it's like right there in the corner, Vash versus Revi, but that's like, but that was more so out of it finally being out after multiple years and just like releasing something again in general. But just releasing this, it's the comeback to the side series, our first like real collab together, and I think this is just gonna be like a very like special battle for me for the indefinite future. Like I already have like an emotional attachment to this project so much.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy. Like we could do it. The dream is real.
Yes.
The dream was alive. It has always been alive.
Yes. But yes, thank you so much, Ryan, for joining me in one of these good old fashioned ARB commentary tracks. It was really great having you here.
Yeah, I really appreciate you having me on. I'm sure this won't be the last of like a
Oh, definitely,
commentaries.
definitely not. I mean, the Moon versus Madoka commentary is definitely gonna happen,
Yes.
and you I you know what note I gotta end the commentary on?
Mm-hmm.
The highest the comment with the most likes on the video is talking about how Mega gave Reze such a fat fucking ass. Like that's like 1/3 of what the comments are.
You know what? I kind of agree.
But yes, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Hopefully next time will be the Mob vs Tetsuo commentary, but we'll just have to see when we get there. You got any final words, Ryan?
Yeah. I think Reze is bad. Sorry.